Welcome again to our channel. Today we'll be having a discussion on telephonic interviews. Many people have asked me, is it the same as a face-to-face interview? Is there anything that we can do in order to ace our telephonic round? This is what we'll be discussing today. First, remember that the PPT is available in the description box below. Let's get started. First off, when we're looking at any sort of telephonic interview, you can think of it in 3 points. 1, we'll be discussing what you need to be doing before the interview starts. 2, what you need to be doing while the interview is happening, and what you can do once the interview is done in order to stand a better chance. Now, starting off with part 1, which is what you need to be doing way before the interview even starts. 1, you have to look to get a hard copy of your resume with you. Remember that they do not expect you to remember everything at that point of time, and in case you are just running over a particular date or you don't remember a particular item on your resume, there's a chance that they might feel you are fibbing. So as far as possible, keep a hard copy with you such that there won't be any confusion while you're discussing things with them. Next, ensure that you do have a mock interview as far as possible with maybe a friend or maybe a senior person who probably is working in human resources, who can give you a really good idea as to how this particular interview might pan out. Also, remember that you can agree to a comfortable timeline such that in case you do have another meeting or you've planned to actually meet up with your friends on a particular time, don't agree to an interview at say a half an hour gap or something. There's every chance that your other appointment might get delayed and you will not be on time for your telephonic round. Remember that first impression can actually be very damaging if they believe that you are very tardy and not even ready for a pre-planned or a scheduled interview. Next, remember that before they have a talk with you, it's a chance that they might have a look at your online presence. Not necessarily Facebook, but more commonly they might have a look at your LinkedIn account. So ensure it's up to date and ensure that whatever you've put up over there is the honest truth. There should never be a chance that anything is misrepresented on your LinkedIn profile, or it should not differ from what you put up on your resume. Next thing you have to remember is research. Now, most people are good with researching about the Wikipedia page of that company or what they've put on their own page. Good. However, one thing that you can do over and above that is to learn about any recent events. To do that, it's pretty simple. I mean, you just need to go to Google, put up the company name and hit news, and you will be able to find any positive news about that company that happened in the last few weeks. This is something that they're likely to ask you, and even if they don't ask you and they ask you a generic question, what you know about the company, if you can speak about a very positive incident about the company that happened just today morning, there's every chance that they will be heavily impressed with how much details you know about the company. This can actually give you an edge over other people. Another point you should remember is remember to smile. Do know that even though they're not physically seeing you, your smile can be seen through a call. Meaning they will be able to feel that positivity within you if you ensure that you do keep a very pleasant face while you're speaking to the people. Next, remember that as far as possible, your calendar should be updated. For instance, once you're done with the interview and they really like you, they are impressed by your skills, they might look to schedule the next round of interview then and there. At that point of time, if your calendar is not updated, there's a chance that you might agree to a particular date and time, and only later would you realize that you have another appointment then. Don't let that happen. Keep an updated list of events. If you are good with a physical calendar, keep that with you. Or if you are a person who uses, say, Google Calendar or any other app, make sure that you updated it to perfection, such that at any given point of time, even if they suggest another particular date, you should be able to just glance at that and say that, yes, I am free on this particular day, let's have the next round then. This is something that will give you a huge advantage over other people who might not have thought about it. Next point you have to remember. Number one, before you actually get started, try to ensure that you have good network connectivity. This is something that can ruin the entire experience of the interview. So ensure that you don't be that one person who keeps saying hello a million times, or who has to cut and call back later because you did not think far enough to actually get to a place which has good network connectivity. Ideally, you should be in a place which is far away from probably your family or any other noisy people you can think of, and far away from probably the main road or the cars. One thing that I personally do is I drive off to a place which is a little more secluded, and I know that I have good range over there. I pull up all the windows and ensure that I have a peaceful conversation with my interviewer. This can work for you, or just pick a spot in your house which is free from any sort of interference from family. As far as possible, inform them that you have an important meeting coming up, and ensure that everyone is up to date with regards to your plans and no one does disturb you in the middle of the call. Next thing is ensure that you stick to a particular position, because I've seen many people standing, sitting, walking, running, jogging even while they're having the interview, and it can be heard, that interference can be heard while I am speaking to them. Ensure you find your comfortable position. If you're comfortable sitting, do that. Many people feel a lot more confident and they're a lot more louder once they stand. If you're comfortable with that, by all means stand while you're talking, but ensure you keep to that and don't shuffle around a lot in between the interview. Next point you have to remember is try to invest in good quality headphones. Now, this might seem obvious, however, there have been many people who actually depend on a basic phone. And remember, your phone might not be having any sort of noise cancellation, and it might not be clearest to the other person on the call. So ensure that you do have a good headphones, and if possible one with a mic inbuilt, such that not only can you hear them, your words are also perfectly clear to the other person. Next point, remember that you should be recharged, and by recharge I mean you and your phone. By you, ensure that you don't skip meals or you don't miss that very important cup of coffee that you always have. Go as per your normal schedule, ensure you're fresh and ready for the interview, and remember to keep your phone batteries at 100%. Also, if needed, do ensure that you have topped up your phone such that even if the call just gets cut for any particular reason, you can get back to calling them and finding out if they need to reschedule the interview or if they can go ahead with the call right then. Another thing that you can possibly do is, as an extra precaution, ensure that you have enough data too, because there have been instances when we're done with the first round of interview and we call up the next set of HRs and we want to have the next round done. It might be a video call. So if they convert a telephonic round into a video call, do you have enough data to actually go ahead with that call? This is something that is extremely important. And keeping that in mind, the next point is equally important, which is dress well for your interview. Ensure that you are sticking to formals, and I can't tell you the number of people who have done the thing of being half dressed, where they were in perfect formals right on the top when they can be seen, and they'd be wearing something absolutely casual underneath. And there have been instances when they have actually gone to pick something up on call, and suddenly we see that they are wearing the floral printed trousers or something that completely does not go well with how they look in that call. So ensure that you are ready for any such of emergencies, and ensure you are perfectly formal, just like you would go for a regular interview. Next thing, during the interview, ensure that more than saying the perfect answer, try to ensure you listen carefully. There have been many instances where my candidate would just keep saying, I didn't get you. Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that? Till the point that it actually starts getting a little irritating. To avoid this, maybe once you can ask them to repeat, but try to put a little less difficulty for them. One thing you can do is paraphrase, where you can ask them, I could not hear you so clearly, but I think you were asking me about my education qualifications, was it? And they would just have to say that yes or no, I was asking you about your experiences. So this is something that you can easily do in case you have a bad connection. And ensure that you always give them a chance to finish. I've seen that many people are so much in a hurry to give them that answer that they don't even wait for the interviewer to finish their question. This can be seen off as extremely rude, and they don't want a person who really rushes into things, because that might have been the actual question that they were asking you. So ensure you listen carefully and then go ahead with your answer. Next important point is ensuring that you don't have any sort of disturbances during the call, especially when you're having a video call, but even in an audio call, if you're having your pet run in and just disturb your entire connections over there. Either they might just run over your laptop or just get into a tangle in your headphones. It might cause the entire thing to go really bad. So ensure that your pet is kept with someone who is taking well care of them, and they don't end up running through to your room and making a mess. This is something that I have seen in a couple of interviews. Ensure it does not happen to you. Now, points that you have to remember after the interview is done. 1, it makes a lovely impression if you can send a thank you note. Now, earlier we used to send physical, written, handwritten notes, but you can just go ahead and drop them an email and tell them how much it meant to you that they spent their time for you. Usually they would have spent like half an hour of the day just to have a brief chat with you, or to know you better, to decide whether you are that best employee for that company or not. Thank them for that time, and you can drop them a message asking them as to when you can get to know back from them. And this is an easy way to find out when is it that you will get a response. Understand that many people usually would end off with the very common, we will let you know. But sending a thank you note is another way of understanding an approximate time as to when you can hear back from them. Now, the point which is extremely important is with regards to follow-ups. Now, I've had people who follow up from, say, an hour after the interview is done. What is the status? What is the status? Am I selected? Am I rejected? And trust me, there are interviewers who actually tell you right then and there, like, you are not selected, or we will inform you in 24 hours or 48 hours. Give them that time. And if they haven't got back to you in that said time, then drop them an email asking them what happened. Is there any sort of difficulties, or was I not reachable? This is my number, so you can reach back onto this particular number if you could not get through to me. And that's a far better way than calling them up like 10 times in a day and asking them what happened. And trust me, there are people who do that, and that has not created a favorable impression of them to any particular person in HR. So these are the main points that you should be remembering. So keep this in mind, and I'm sure that you should be able to crack your next telephonic interview beautifully. So best of luck for that. You can put your message in the comment box or drop me a message on LinkedIn. Remember, stay home, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.